Hello, this is my May planner wrap-up and June planner setup. I realized that it is already 6 days into June. This is also strangely cat snuggle porn. I don't know. I was actually going to do a top-down video, but they took over my table. So you get to see this face and these idiots. So hopefully they'll get out of the way and I can switch. Oh, look at that. They left. All right. So we'll do a quick intro and then I'll go to my top-down camera. So, hi. My name is Anna. This is the Well-Appointed Desk. We're going to talk about planner setups. We're going to talk about this little beauty, which is my well-loved, well-abused Bassi & Co. B6 planner with Stalogy inside, and how I set it up, how it goes each month, what kind of messes I make. And I'm going to go set up my camera before these little assholes take over my table again. All right, hold on. Okay, we've gotten all situated, and so far there are no cats present, although I see one make it a break for it, so we may be interrupted. So, as I mentioned before, this is my Stalogy B6, which I store in this old Bassi & Co. leather cover. Bassi & Co. was on Etsy. They are no longer in business, but should you need a cover like this, I'm sure there are other vendors on Etsy who would be more than happy to make one for you. I like mine because it's green and has blue stitching, but that's just me. I use this Midori clip that slides on the back, although it's getting a little loose, and I'm thinking about switching to one of the like term self-adhesive ones that I can just leave. Since I use basically the Stalogy for a whole year, I can just stick one of those on there and just call it good for a year, because this one tends to slide off, and I would hate to lose the clip or my pen, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's go back and look at how did May go. So I use these two month on 2 pages, gosh, I couldn't even think of the words, that were in a planner that I purchased that turned out to not be something I wanted to use, but I wanted to save these since they were undated and I could just glue these in and use them as I needed them. I used them for a little bit of sort of content planning for the website and that kind of thing. So like when I was going to do different activities, but mostly it's just one of those things that I use to find out like, oh, what day is the 14th? Oh, it's a Tuesday, that kind of thing. So it's nice to have. I don't know that I necessarily need them. I do really like I think Midori has just this one where it's already pre-printed and it's self-adhesive that I can just stick down. And I think moving forward, I may just purchase these and stick them in there, since I'm really just using them to sort of note specific events. And then like occasionally if there's like, you know, a vacation or a pen show or something like that, where I just sort of highlight like, I'm going to be out of town these 4 days. And then it's also the day that I put my tab marking the beginning of the month. So it's just a nice way to be like, here's my month at a glance. So if I need to know anything, this is the letterpress printed calendar. So at the end of the month, I pasted this in on an extra sheet of paper that I tipped in. It's a folded sheet that I tipped in just using washi tape, just so that I had extra pages that I could write some extra notes at the beginning of the month. But this was something that was a special gift to patrons at the end of the year. They got a calendar in the mail for our top tier patrons. I designed them, Bob printed them. Just saying, if you want to be a patron, you might get a nice little bonus next year. They seem to be a big hit. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I have the calendar on my desk, and so at the end of the month, I just glued this in so that I would have a record of them, because we don't have very many of them left, and at some point I won't have them at all, and it's just nice to at least have some record of something that I made. So you all got to see sort of some of my applying stickers at the beginning of last month. So this is sort of what the pages start to look like once they have crap in them. And sometimes I lose track of what happened. So it's not, it is what it is. This was Bob's birthday, so I spent more time just hanging out with Bob than like making notes about stuff that we did. So I did attempt to use the Midori sort of translucent Post-it note that I reviewed this month to make notes of a day that I had one of my terrible headaches, because I thought this was a good way to sort of trigger my memory of these days, because my doctor likes me to note when these happen, and what medication I take and how long it takes for it to work and that kind of thing. But again, these Post-it notes are a little challenging to write on, so not a great solution, but I do like the idea of noting like those sort of emergency medicine moments with these notes, because then I have them available if I need to refer to them for the doctor. But yeah, so for me, this is working really well. Oh, this actually needs to be taped in. This was the day I went to the library, and I'll just tape it in right now. When I go to the library, they give us these little sheets, that come out of the machine to tell you what book you checked out and when it is due back. And I wanted to just tip it in here as a little reminder of the books. One of them is The Man Who Died Twice, which is our patron book club book this month. So I'm about halfway through it. I need to finish it before we meet up. And the other one was a book called Expiration Dates, which I have already finished. And it was a very charming, very sweet book. So anyway, so in some cases I'll go back and add additional stickers and things like that on these days where there was nothing going on, just to sort of page fill. But I don't mind. I mean, I think I've added enough stuff that it feels fun, and most of the time the pages are pretty well filled. For June, I tried to I tried to print my own calendar, and it was a bit of a disaster. Illustrator was not cooperative. It kept crashing. So things did not go well. Information was really inaccurate. It was not Kat's fault, but in the case of this video, it is. But anyway, so I hit a certain point at which I'm like, I just want a freaking calendar. So I just took what came out of my printer, and like the dates didn't even print out. It's just like, sometimes you just have technical problems and you're like, I'm just going to work with what I've got. So I just hand wrote in the days, and like some of the information of like was just in the wrong place, and I just made it work. But mostly these help me to track things that I need to do now that I'm having to schedule things like the podcast and videos and some other stuff. I just need some way to visually see like what days do I need to block off a couple of hours to do each of these tasks in a way that when I was at the beck and call of someone else, I didn't have the luxury of being like, this is the day that I'm going to do this thing, and this is the day that I'm going to do this thing. So I'm sure anyone else who runs their own business has a similar feel of like, my goal is to take this time to do this thing. Whether that actually happens or not is up for debate, but this is the day that I'm supposed to have this accomplished. So anyway, so my theme for this month, I guess I probably should have started with that, is roses. What did I decide? I went and looked up like what June's, like the June, like when you look up in those books, like what is June's, like June birthday flower and that kind of thing. And it was roses and maybe lilies, or I think. So anyway, so I decided It's great. I have tons of stickers that have roses on it. I have tons of washi tape that have roses on it. So it's really not a huge stretch from the strawberries that I used last month. So I'm kind of sticking with the sort of reds and greens and pinks. So it was very easy for me to sort of sway. I didn't even have to change the colors in my pens. So I'm using the same two absolutely identical pens. Wow, another cat. We're just having cat problems here. You guys can't see him, but Pepper is sitting just off to the side. But I'm using the same two, absolutely identical Nagasawa versions of Pro Gear Slims in the spring green colorway. One has Califolio Andronopal, and the other one has the Pen BBS matcha ice cream, the green color. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. But yes, so this is the Califolio Andronopal, which is lovely sort of deep reddish pink. And the green I used quite a bit. Oh yeah, so this is the green here, which go great with these washi tapes. So I was able to not need to clean out my pens, just get to continually reuse those colors, and then just abuse the heck out of some pinks and greens and red tape. Added a couple of my strawberry stickers in. So I'm just kind of keeping with my theme. I'm really just enjoying just playing with these sheets of stickers that came from the same books that I have used over the last few months. And my goal here is really to not necessarily purchase more things each month, but really try to use the things that I have. So it is the Botanist Sticker Anthology, and I think the other one is the Forest, Fairies, and Fungi. And then I also have a couple of books from is it Peter Popper Press that are like bunches of botanicals and things like that. So I will put links to all of that in the post so that you guys can see them. And I kind of go through them. I've got them here where I just go through and sort of cut out flowers that I feel, I think it's honeysuckle was the other one. So it's roses and honeysuckle. And cut out the flowers that I felt like went with. Got a little moons, just, feel a little spook, little witchy, little funky. But yeah, so I have all these just already pulled out, and I've pulled out some sort of washi masking sheets, just to throw a little, I think what my friends call it is an acid color. So a bright yellow that's kind of not in theme. And I was able to go ahead and plan out sort of my page layouts for the first half of the month. So I got all the way to the 18th of June. And I figure about mid-month I will sit down and do the remainder of these. And just for me, this helps to just make it very simple for myself. I only have a few rolls of tape. I mean, obviously there's like 8, but when you look at the entire drawer that I have, this is way less than sitting there in front of the whole drawer and being like, for this page, should I use roll 1 or roll 77? So this just streamlines everything for me a little bit. And then this was reviewed a couple days ago. This is the Alamore stacking stamp, and it has the weather, it has moods, it has a star rating, and then it has a sort of a progress tracker. And you just pop it off, and it's got a pre-inked stamp on there, and it's super, super tiny and fine lined, and it fits perfectly in the sort of 5 mil grid on my in my planner. So my plan is to start adding these, like the weather icons or the mood as the mood strikes me, and then maybe the star ratings, because I do include like what I've been reading, shows I've been watching, things like that, and then just coloring them in to indicate like that I'm giving this show a 5-star rating or whatnot. So anyway, yeah. So just set up a few pages, and as I pointed out last month, my goal is always to sort of get at least 3 elements. Like in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 here it's like 1, 2, 3, to just create some harmony. And here across the page is like 1, 2, 3, just to sort of create some balance. And then once I put my actual projects and goals and things like that in here, it'll start to look more like other pages where you've got, you know, like I'll divide the page up into like what I did, you know, maybe things that I've purchased. And then here's like what I've been playing, because I got a Nintendo Switch and I've now been playing a lot of video games. So you're lucky I have time to record videos for you guys, because what I really want to be doing is playing on my Switch. So anyway, I hope this kind of gave you guys a little overview, kind of see how I'm doing things. Maybe next month I will kind of go through the process of how I insert extra pages, because I think that's a cool technique, and it's a great way to, one, add extra pages to a book that is bound like this, where you might want to add extra pages, and also a great way to use up a bunch of washi tape, you know, while adding a little decorative element to your book. So I hope that this little overview, I didn't go into great detail about the pens that I picked out, but they are very similar to what I have been picking out in the past, where I pick out a couple brush pens and a couple of just fine liners and things. So they will all be linked. I will have photographs to just sort of walk through my pen picks. So anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I will see you guys again next month. Bye.